How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over the best ways to make Azoth salt fast and level your territory standing at the same time. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. That helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. Have you ever found yourself finishing a PvP track, seeing a shiny new artifact to pick up, and wanting to unlock it so you can keep earning more XP towards your next track, but you didn't have enough Azoth salt to do so? Well, I've got you covered with today's method. Recently, for my Artifact Hunter series, I've been working on unlocking all of the current PvP track artifacts that are available in New World, and boy is that a long grind. I finally finished the tracks 1 to 50, and now artifacts are starting to come in so fast that I can't keep up with the salt, so I decided to put this video together to show you all what I've been doing to get my salt up between track levels, so I can keep purchasing an artifact every track and maximize my returns. And the method I've been using is the infused alkahest method, but in a slightly altered manner than you might expect. To do this method, for starters, you're going to need 100 Arcana to begin the grind. 205 is a big bonus too, but 100 is a good start, and as you continue to do this method, you'll eventually get to 205, and then you can incorporate step 2 into your grind. There's a ton of guides online on how to level up your Arcana fast, but it's really easy to get up to 100, and I bet a lot of you might already be there anyways. You'll also need your camp to be tier 5, so for you lower levels out there, you might want to wait a bit, or just start hoarding the resources you'll need for this method until you get your camp maxed out. Next, you're going to want to be purchasing up large amounts of water, hyssop, and Azoth water. Depending on your server, these items can get pretty pricey at times, so make sure to put up your buy orders and try to get as many of these items as you can for as cheap as possible to save some coin. The Azoth water tends to be the most pricey of the lot, but if you wanted to really save some coin, you could even go out and farm this yourself. You can see on screen some really good areas where you can find this resource. When buying your materials though, keep this ratio in mind. For every 1 water and Azoth water you buy, you'll need 10 hyssop to create an infused alkahest. Because you'll be doing this in such large quantities, and weight can become a factor, you can always put your water into a consumable slot in one of your gear sets until you need to use it to save inventory weight. On the same theme of buying materials, you'll also want to purchase 3 bags with the town loyalty perk on them. Now, I get it, whenever people hear bags they get stressed, as they can get really pricey, but don't worry, you don't need top tier bags. You can just purchase 3 of the cheaper bags with these perks on them off of the market. It's only a couple of percentage points that differ from max gear score bags and lower tier ones. So I like to spend no more than 4,000 coins per bag and try to get around plus 13% standing bonus from each bag. You could of course spend a lot less than that if you wanted to. Even if these aren't better than your main bags, you can always just throw them on when you're about to do this method for the added bonuses, because it'll add up to a ton in the long run and they'll more than pay for themselves. Now that you have all your materials, your bags, and your Arcana leveled at least 100, you can start buffing up. Before going out and crafting, you're going to want to keep 4 key things in mind. First, you're going to want to make sure your faction owns the Weaver's Fen Fort. This is because you'll get a plus 10% refining yield boost, which will add up to a ton in the long run. You can either wait for a time of the day when your faction has gotten it, or just go over and cap it yourself. Then, you're going to want to get your Territory Triumph music buff for the plus 30% territory standing bonus. This is unlocked at level 5 music, so even if you hate the skill and never use it, you can just AFK a couple songs for the XP to unlock it, and then get the buff up on your character before you start. After that, pop a Territory Standing Augment for a bonus plus 100% Territory Standing. You'll get quite a few of these in the free version of the Season Passes, so hold on to them for this method, or if you don't have any, you can always purchase them in the Marks of Fortune store. If you do not have a lot of these, it's worth saving up a lot of ingredients and using the augments only when you have a ton of materials so you can do this method in bulk. And finally, you're going to want to make sure you're PvP flagged before you start crafting. This is very important, because if you don't wait for the timer to run out before you start crafting, you'll not be getting the Azoth salt. A quick thing to mention, if you're one of the lucky few who manage to get their hands on some trophies of dominances, throwing these up in your house will help out a ton as well, as you'll get a plus 25% bonus to your territory reputation gain. But these are very difficult to get, so if you're a newer player, or a more casual player, don't worry about this. Okay, so now you're fully buffed up and ready to go. Head to the territory you want to level up the most, go just far enough outside of the town to build your camp, and place it. Don't forget your 5 greenwood and 1 flint to do this, as walking back to get them can be a pain, especially if you're walking out of the town gate encumbered. With your camp set and your buffs up, double check that your PvP timer is done and you're actually flagged up, and get to crafting. In your camp, you're going to want to hit the craft button and scroll down to infused alkahest. I've tried playing around with how many of these to craft at a time, but I find roughly 200 to be the sweet spot. So go ahead, craft 200, and then another 200, repeating the process over and over, and you'll see every couple of times you do it, you'll be rewarded with 1,650 Azoth salt and a ton of territory standing in the process as well. As you're leveling up your territory standing and raking in the Azoth salt, it's worth choosing your territory level rewards in the process every once in a while, and specifically choosing the territory standing bonus rewards as well when available, as that'll just speed up this process on the whole by a ton. But you may be wondering, why go out to your camp to do this, or is it just going to an Arcana station in the town? And that's for two reasons. One, there's no tax at your camp, which will save you on gold, and two, the Azoth salt. If you're not PvP flagged, which you cannot be within a town, you'll not be getting any salt, basically just throwing away free resources, so that's why we're going to our camp. If you didn't have 205 Arcana already when you started this grind, eventually, after doing this for a while, you'll get to this point, and that's when you could take this one step further. Sure, you could just sell all of your infused alkahests you make, and then buy more of the previously mentioned materials with the money you make off of that, or you can turn these into regeneration serums. Which way you go about this should depend on prices in your server, so look which is the most cost effective for you, but if you want to go the serum route, I'll quickly go over that now. Basically, you already have all the alkahests you need, so all you need to do is buy up infused health, mana, and regeneration potions, head back to your camp, repeating the previously stated process, but this time making regeneration serums instead. For every 5 infused alkahests you have, it'll take 3 of each infused health, mana, and regeneration potions to make 1 regeneration serum, so keep that ratio in mind when buying up your materials, and throw up some buy orders to get these potions as cheap as you possibly can get them. I tend to make them 5 at a time, just because I like to do it that way. But you can always just do these in bulk, as you'll not really be getting salt from this last step, and the territory standing is also not quite as good either. So if that's the case, why do it, you may be wondering? And it's simply down to minimizing costs. For starters, you'll get a crazy amount of Arcana XP by doing this, which will skyrocket you to max level in no time, and then you'll start getting aptitude reward crates. This will start giving you back even more resources which you can sell on to fund this method further. I also find on the servers I play in that regeneration serums tend to sell a lot quicker than the infused alkahest. Plus, if you focus on maximizing your refining bonuses, you can also stand to get a ton of bonus serums in the process, which will just give you even more extra coin. But again, maybe this isn't more profitable in your server, so check first and decide which way is best for you based on prices. I know this method can get a bit expensive, but it's still a really amazing method to use if you aren't too strapped for coin, or if you're trying to get salt but want to avoid as much PvP as possible. And if you place your buy and sell orders at the right time, and maximize your efficiency in every aspect, you may even be able to turn a profit while doing this, depending on your server prices. Heck, you could even just go out and farm all the resources yourself, and bring the costs down to 0. There's an abundance of these materials all over Aeternum. But that brings us to the end of the video. Have you ever used this method in the past? Or plan on doing so in the future? Let me know in the comments below, and if the video is of any help to you, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video. If you'd like to learn how to level up your PvP tracks fast without actually PvPing, so you can get those track artifacts, click on the video to the left. Or if you'd like to learn how to maximize your efficiency with your trade skills, click on the video to the right.